A free raw piece of quartz that you found on the ground does not make the $50 polished piece of quartz a scam. Categorize all crystal enthusiasts as just psychos who believe in magic rocks is really diminishing the hard work, research, passion, and intelligence that many people put into their crystal businesses. It's just not that deep. It's just not that big of a deal. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. I have a crystal shop called Cosmic Geology, and here on my channel I make crystal videos, small business videos, sometimes other things. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe because I put out new videos every week or so. Yes, I am randomly holding a microphone like this that is not meant to be held. Normally I would have my microphone sitting over there, but I am moving, so I have no furniture and I feel like holding it because I like it and it's kind of fun. Today's video is going to be maybe a little controversial, which I don't normally like to do. I'm a Libra, I'm a people pleaser. I don't like to express opinions that people may disagree with. There's nothing educational about this video. It's not really informative. It's just me talking about a topic that doesn't really matter that much. So if you want to listen to me rant and ramble about something I saw online, then keep watching. And if you want to learn something, have more educational videos, then I will have my Crystal Chats playlist linked. So today I wanted to talk about the beef I've seen online between geologists and crystal people, as they call them. You would think that two groups of people that have the same interests would at least somewhat get along, but when it comes to crystals, or should I say minerals, that just doesn't seem to be the case. I see so much like animosity and judgment from geologists towards crystal people, and I don't really understand why. Of course, this isn't all geologists, but I've seen it quite a few times now, like enough for me to notice and want to discuss. I love following geology pages online and learning more about geology, especially when it comes to minerals. More than one time I've followed a geology page and then eventually they start bashing on crystal people. It just makes me roll my eyes. Apparently even using the word crystals to describe minerals is a red flag. Except crystals is a nice general term because it's not always minerals specifically. Sometimes it's rocks, which are made up of minerals. And sometimes they are just crystals, so not everything is specifically a mineral. Shockingly, you can be into science and geology and the metaphysical side of crystals at the same time. In this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this beef that I've seen between these two groups, how I feel about it, and maybe bridge the gap a little bit so that we can enjoy geology together. Or is that too hopeful and positive to say? I don't expect to change anyone's mind here. I don't think I could change anyone's mind on the topic. I'm just here to chit chat about something I saw online, so let's talk about it. For some context, I do have a crystal shop. I do also have a degree in geology, and going to school for geology actually started before the crystal shop did. I started my degree for geology in 2016, which was 2 years into college because I had been changing my major around, and I started collecting crystals like lately in 2015 or so. But at this point, I wasn't super into manifestation or crystal healing or anything like that. I was definitely someone who fell into the category of buying crystals because ooh, pretty rock, without really using them for anything or understanding them much at all. I did also believe in the law of attraction, but it was just kind of loosely in my mind. I wasn't really practicing it in any way. My interest in geology actually formed pretty separately from my crystal collecting. I've always been interested in rocks. I had a big rock collection when I was little, like all of that. I actually initially wanted to go to school for astronomy because I had always been into space, but I quickly realized that I was like way too stupid for that. And that's not even putting myself down or being self-deprecating. Like, I'm really too stupid for astronomy. And I would say most people probably are. It's really hard. I actually started out as a physics major when I was in college, which is kind of crazy because I had never even taken physics in high school. I had never taken advanced math or science because I always assumed I was going to go to art school. So I was like, why would I bother with calculus if I don't need to? So I went from possibly going to art school to then a physics major. I can't possibly imagine why that didn't work out. But yeah, the physics major for astronomy only lasted about a year or so. And it's funny because I remember in high school when I had earth science classes, I would think like, wow, I wish I could just go to school for this. Like, I wish this could be my job. But I, for some reason, never actually considered it. I never actually thought that it could be my job. So once physics didn't work out, I just moved to geology because in my mind, physics and geology were pretty similar, both like earth sciences. I figured I could use geology in some way to get back into astronomy, but Once I actually started in geology classes and realized how cool and interesting it was on its own, I really didn't have any interest in astronomy anymore. But even once I started my degree in geology, my interest wasn't focused on minerals. I've always been interested in like national parks and bigger geology, like structural geology, earth history. Mineralogy classes were actually really hard for me because I am not good at chemistry and atoms. That was really difficult. That was like my worst geology class. Although I do think I'm pretty good at the identifying rocks part. But once you get down to the structure and the atoms, you lost me. So I graduated college with my degree in geology in 2020, and I started my crystal shop around late 2019 to early 2020. So my interest in crystals was kind of growing alongside my interest in geology, but I didn't get into geology because of crystals, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, I give you my whole life story here to say I came from the geology side and I still ended up in the crystal people world, using crystals for magical healing and manifestation. Being on both sides of the spectrum at once, I see a lot of hate coming from the geologist side toward the crystal people side. Now, I can understand that if you're a very scientific, logical person and you hear someone saying, place this labradorite on your third eye chakra and meditate with it to improve your intuition and receive messages from higher realms, then that sounds absolutely insane. Like, labradorite is just a regular old feldspar. It is not giving you magical powers. Peach moonstone, that's literally just a regular old rock that you can find anywhere, and they just give it a fancy trade name to scam you and get money out of you. And of course, you don't have to be into the spiritual properties of crystals. You don't have to believe that they're doing anything for you. You can think it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. That's okay. Personally, I believe that it's a little silly that some people believe that crystals are demonic and only evil witches use them. I think that's silly, but that's to each their own. I believe that people can have whatever spiritual beliefs they want as long as it is not harming anyone or you're not pushing it on to other people, such as trying to make laws according to your religion that everyone should follow. And if you have no spiritual beliefs at all and you're strictly into science, that's cool too. Personally, I like to believe that the world is a little more magical than we think. Everything is energy, and personally to me, it just doesn't feel insane to say that crystals also carry an energy that can possibly help us. I think the science of crystals and how they form is fascinating. I love it so much, but I do also believe there is a spiritual realm that we can interact with. I do believe in manifestation, and I do believe that crystals can help us. Emphasis on help us and not magically cure all our problems. We don't truly know that much about the universe for a solid fact. It is such a mystery, and I am open to believing things that just seem unbelievable. We don't even know where the universe came from. We don't even know what atoms are made up of. Theories actually suggest that there is no physical matter at all, and everything is made up of energy. I don't know, I told you I was too stupid to be a physics major, so don't expect me to be able to explain quantum physics to you. Moral of the story is we don't know that much about anything. I don't think we know enough about the universe to rule things out like manifestation and crystal healing. I just find it fascinating how concepts like crystals and astrology have been used for thousands and thousands of years. And I really just don't believe that our ancestors were stupid, dumb cave people who didn't know anything about anything. I think that ancient people were a lot smarter than we give them credit for, and it wouldn't hurt us to be a little more open to things that are more magical. Now, I don't even mind people saying that crystals are just rocks that don't have any properties at all. Like I said, you don't have to believe in that. I understand how that might sound crazy to some people, but what I really don't like is geologists trying to dunk on people and bash crystal sellers and acting straight up condescending. Here are some examples of that I have seen. So if you're on Crystal Talk at all, you have definitely seen the fad of crystal confetti. Crystal confetti is a fun little thing that crystal shops do where they mix a bunch of tumbles, crystal chips, and other fun little things into a big mix to create a fun confetti. Some shops sell it, some give it away as freebies. It's really fun. Everyone likes it. And it was really, really popular on TikTok for a long time. It probably still is. I don't really go on Crystal Talk that much anymore. It's such a fun, harmless thing, and of course people had to come in and ruin it. So some people started duetting crystal shops' TikToks of their crystal confetti to rate it based on the hardness level of the crystals within the confetti mix. With the Mohs scale of hardness, every mineral ranks somewhere between 1 being the softest and 10 being the hardest. So anything that's harder can scratch something that is softer. If any soft minerals like selenite were in the mix alongside something harder like quartz, the crystal confetti would be rated as bad. And the people duetting these videos would just be so rude to these small businesses and so condescending, acting like they were so much better and smarter than them because they knew about hardness. This led to the people who were watching those duetted videos commenting on these small businesses' confetti videos, bashing them, and even affecting some people's sales. And then the people who were duetting the Crystal Shop's videos to tell people how bad the confetti is were literally bragging about ruining small businesses' sales. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with educating people on the hardness level of different minerals and how they can scratch if they come into contact with each other. That's great, that's wonderful. Education is amazing. People should be educated on the things that they're buying or selling. It's more of the attitude that came along with it and treating these small business owners like they were scammers or stupid because they were selling crystal confetti with various hardness leveled minerals. My hot take about this whole crystal confetti situation is it's not that deep. There's literally no scam involved to crystal confetti. You get exactly what you're paying for, which is a random mix of different crystals. If you don't want different types of crystals mixed together because they might get scratched or damaged, then don't buy crystal confetti, which is different crystals and minerals mixed together. In these crystal confetti mixes, yeah, there is a risk that some of the stones could get scuffed or chipped in the mix. And if you don't want to take that risk, then just buy the stones individually. No one is forcing you to buy crystal confetti. I also just want to say that even though these minerals have varying levels of hardness and things can potentially get scuffed, chipped, damaged, whatever, it takes a lot more than something just being next to something else to scratch it. Like here I have a variety of different minerals. We have selenite even, which is the softest here. We have calcite, also pretty soft. We have quartz-based things. We have hematite, prehnite, obsidian, sodalite, variety of different things, okay? If I put these all in a crystal confetti mix, everything's fine. Even here, I have a flower agate, quartz-based. It's like a 6.5 to 7. I have a selenite. It's really, really soft and easily scratched. It's literally fine. It is perfectly fine. Even though it's soft, just because they are next to each other does not mean they are scratched up. Usually you will have to apply some sort of pressure to scratch it. So say this is my bag of crystal confetti. If I were to shake it all up, everything's perfectly fine. Nothing is cracked, broken, damaged. And I'll bet that most people are not being this rough with their crystal confetti. Like maybe they are all in a big bucket together, but I mean, they are not getting smashed around and shaken up. Also, I will say 99.9% of crystal sellers are going to either bubble wrap these individually or bubble wrap the bag as a whole. So I think the issue of crystal confetti arriving broken is a whole separate issue, which revolves around poor packaging. Like any crystal of any hardness can get damaged from the post office throwing the package around if it's not properly packaged. Especially these polished stones are just not going to be totally turned into dust just because they're rubbing up against harder minerals. Many times these crystal confettis, especially the freebie ones, are just tiny crystal chips, maybe imperfect tumbled stones, raw pieces. So who cares if they get a little chipped? At least that's how I feel about it, especially if it's a freebie. And again, like I said, if you don't want to risk your stones being damaged and you want every piece to be in pristine condition, that's totally fine. Just buy them individually. I just find crystal confetti to be so harmless that I'm not sure why geologists are trying to dunk on crystal shop owners with their elite knowledge of the Mohs scale of hardness, trying to make it seem like this is like the dumbest idea anyone's ever seen. Like, it's really not a big deal. These stones rubbing together is not the end of the world. Again, sharing the hardness level of different crystals so that people are knowledgeable about it is fantastic. We love education. That's great. I have no problem with people saying, hey, selenite is really soft, so be careful. There's a difference between just sharing your educational posts, maybe giving people a heads up who may not already know, and using this opportunity to bash small business owners and make them out to be scammers. Because this really did affect people's business. Like I see comments on crystal confetti all the time where people are commenting like, you don't know anything, those two crystals can't be mixed together, they're gonna scratch each other, they're different hardnesses, and it's just not that deep. It's just not that big of a deal. Crystal confetti is just so cute and fun. It is so harmless. Another example of geologists acting better than crystal people is the whole, you're so stupid for paying for overpriced crystals when I can find them on the side of the road for free. Now I will say a geologist probably can enjoy a side of the road rock more than someone who's into crystals for healing purposes. I have plenty of rocks in my collection that are literally just rocks to most people and wouldn't find them interesting. Rocks that I've gathered from various locations on field trips, not national parks though. That's a crime. As much as I would love to steal national park rocks, I never have because I am respectful. But let's not pretend that metaphysical crystal shops are the only places where minerals can be expensive. Some specimens are extremely expensive because they're rare, unique, museum-grade quality, and have nothing to do with their metaphysical healing properties. Diamonds, gold, rubies, aquamarine, like precious gems, they're going to be very expensive. Rare minerals that have only been found in small quantities or have been completely mined out. A mineral that's found in a color it doesn't normally come in. A unique crystal structure. A unique combination. Minerals can be extremely expensive. Have you ever been to a mineral exhibit or a geology museum? There are all sorts of cool, museum-grade, extremely expensive crystals. Minerals. If your favorite rocks are the kind that you found on the side of the road for free, then that's fantastic. There's some really cool things out there that you can find just on the ground for free. Of course, there are some crystal shops out there who do overprice for very average quality crystals and make them seem like they're something extraordinary and incredible because of their crystal healing properties. But saying that rocks you can find on the side of the road are even equivalent to high quality cut, carved, polished, rare pieces is just silly. A free raw piece of quartz that you found on the ground does not make the $50 polished piece of quartz a scam. You can be a geologist and still enjoy a cut and polished crystal. Sure, I could probably find a piece of quartz like this out there in the world for free, but there's nothing wrong with buying a piece like this, which is the same mineral, just higher quality, carved and polished, more expensive. You can't tell me this isn't cool. I will gladly pay a high price for this because I think it's beautiful. I love the quality. I wasn't scammed into buying it at a high price because someone told me the healing properties were going to cure me. The quality of different stones makes a huge difference in the price, especially when crystals on the crystal market in metaphysical shops are usually cut and polished or carved, which does increase the price because there was labor and work that went into making these pieces. Whereas, of course, raw pieces are going to be a lot cheaper because there is not labor that is going into them aside from pulling them out of the ground. Most people who have crystal shops and are into the metaphysical properties of crystals are also really into the geology, and the majority of these shops do try to provide geologically correct information about the material that they're selling. There are so many crystal shop owners who are so intelligent and extremely educated about the crystals they're selling. I've seen quite a few crystal shop owners who are way more educated about the geology on different crystals than I am without even having gone to school for it. So to categorize all crystal enthusiasts as just psychos who believe in magic rocks is really diminishing the hard work, research, passion, and intelligence that many people put into their crystal businesses. There's so many things that geologists and crystal lovers can find common ground in instead of bashing one side for not liking things in the same way that you like them. For one, I think we can all agree that properly identifying crystals, especially when selling them, is really important. I think it's really important for everyone within this field, no matter what side you're on, to discuss proper names for things and provide geologically correct information. But to paint crystal shop owners like scammers, like, oh, you know what you're doing selling this aura quartz or peach moonstone. You're trying to scam people for money. You have this fake malachite because you're a scammer and a bad person. Like, I promise you the majority of crystal sellers are not evil scammers. They're not bad people, especially when it comes to like small business owners. Most of the time, if people are selling fake, treated, dyed crystals as authentic crystals, it's probably because they don't know that they are, not because they're being malicious. And of course, I think you should know the material you're selling and you should know to look out for fakes so that you can provide buyers with correct information. Like, it doesn't make it okay to sell fake or mislabeled crystals just because you don't know. Navigating and avoiding fake crystals is really difficult as someone who sells crystals because there's always new ones popping up on the market. Myself and other crystal sellers regularly make videos and informative content on fakes to look out for, how to identify them, so people don't get scammed by lab-grown glass or plastic crystals. It's amazing to bring awareness to fake crystals on the market so people don't get scammed and teach people how to identify real minerals. We love that. We can all agree that that's wonderful. Many geologists just seem to have the impression that crystal sellers sell fakes to scam people for easy money, and that's just so rarely the case. These fakes usually come from suppliers in China who are whipping up new lab-grown and fake crystals and introducing them to the market as authentic stones. People who are new to the crystal world or maybe not as educated can easily get fooled by these because the supplier themselves is saying it's authentic, so you're probably going to believe them. This just passes misinformation around the community, and no one likes that. We can all come together to agree that fake crystals suck and educate the community on what to look out for. This is slightly off topic, but something that annoys me like no other, like top 5 pet peeves, is people just assuming that everyone has the worst intentions. A crystal shop is selling a fake or mislabeled crystal. You know what you're doing, you scammer. No, it's usually an honest mistake. I feel like this happens to me a lot where people misread me or misjudge me and assume I'm being like mean, rude, or sassy. In general, can we just stop jumping to the worst possible conclusion and assuming the worst about people at all times? Not everyone is being rude, deceiving, ill-intentioned, malicious, liars, scammers. Like, unfortunately, there's bad people out there. There are malicious people and scammers, but I just refuse to believe that that's the majority. One thing a lot of spiritual crystal lovers get a lot of hate for is promoting pseudoscience and medical misinformation. My hand is getting tired. I think something geologists and most crystal sellers can agree on is that it's wrong to promote crystals as being a cure to any sort of life problem or physical ailment. You need to buy this crystal to fix your cancer? Nope, we don't like that. Preying on vulnerable people who are desperate to fix their problems by telling them these crystals are magical and going to heal everything for them? We don't like that over here either. There's a difference between believing that crystals have different energies that can help us in different areas of our life versus promoting harmful ideas that crystals alone can heal your medical issues, cure your depression, or get you out of a bad place in life. In any group of people, there's going to be a couple of bad eggs who give the whole group a bad name. But when it comes to crystal sellers, I feel like the whole group gets categorized as crazy scammers who overprice basic crystals to make a couple dollars off of vulnerable people. Personally, I do believe in manifestation and the spiritual aspect to crystals. However, most of the crystals in my collection I have bought because they're geologically cool, interesting to look at. In my business, I do try to focus on the geology that maybe other shops aren't talking about to provide correct geologic information about these stones, how they formed, how to properly identify stones, to combat a ton of the misinformation that I see out there on the market. While I love crystals for their energy and I do believe in their properties, personally, I would say I do lean more towards the geology when it comes to buying crystals for myself. But I like to provide the possible healing benefits to these crystals in my descriptions and videos as well for the people who are looking for this information. I don't think there's anything wrong at all for using crystals to bring comfort, support, and hope during a difficult time. I think there's a huge difference between using crystals to supplement other things that you're doing in your life to help improve your situation versus using crystals as a quick fix that alone is going to completely change your life without having to do any internal or external work. Anything out there can be taken to an unhealthy extreme, and of course, crystals are no exception. People can take it too far and put all their eggs in one basket of relying on crystals to fix their life, and that's not a healthy way to go about it. But really, what is the harm in someone buying selenite to cleanse the energy in their house, or sleeping with lepidolite to help them get a better night's sleep, wearing a carnelian bracelet to bring them more confidence at school, working with rose quartz to make new friends or to help you love yourself? Crystal people just have such a bad reputation for being crazy, and I just think that's unfair. So I guess this video was just me putting in a good word for us crazy crystal people out there. We just like a little magic in our lives, and I think that's okay. In fact, when you really think about it, geologists should be thanking us crazy crystal people for really hyping up your field. Like, we're telling everyone that rocks have magical properties and can heal you. Like, that sounds pretty cool. Like, we're just making it sound even more interesting than it already was. So you're welcome. Okay, that's everything I have to say on this topic for now. That was a long video. My hand hurts. This was definitely way more opinion-based and controversial than my regular content, but I just wanted to talk about this trend I've noticed online of geologists bashing crystal people and wonder if you guys have noticed this too. Like, I just hate when I go to follow someone because they talk about geology and then suddenly we're just hating on other people who also enjoy geology. I'd love to know your opinions on this topic, so be sure to comment down below. Even if you disagree with me, try to be nice, but even if you're not nice, I'm going to try to accept it. Do you think crystal people are psychos for believing in magic rocks? Are you a crazy crystal person like I am? Do you like crystals just because they're pretty? I know I have quite a few geology followers as well, so I would wonder, do you, as a geologist, think that it's crazy when I start talking about metaphysical properties? Let me know. And if you're interested in buying some magic rocks or minerals, check out my crystal shop. It'll be linked down below, Cosmic Geology. I also have a second channel where I'm going to start posting more often. I never thought I would make a second channel because one channel is already a lot of work. And when I started this channel, it was a personal channel and then it evolved to crystal and business related videos. So now that I have that going, I kind of want to keep this one business related, and then I have my personal one. So if you're interested in seeing more about the cats, trips I go on, vlogs, maybe gaming, honestly, if I can get it figured out, let me know if anyone would like that, because I would like that. Be sure to follow my second channel. I'll have it linked. I will have a moving vlog up soon. Not yet, obviously, because I haven't moved. But if you'd like more life updates, check out that channel. I would appreciate you so much for doing that. And I appreciate you for watching this video. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your opinions. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.